Hello again. So today's video is a bit different. Originally I had planned a bit of a camp. That's fell through on me. I couldn't get it out. It was circumstances we had no control over. So I already had my gear packed up, so I thought I'd do a bit of an unpacking. I also, at the same time, I've just watched a video from Paul Mesner. He was talking about gear acquisition syndrome. It's a term that he came up with. It's something I quite liked, and the way that he deals with it's really well. Talking about one in, one out. This is something that I have similar for, but I would call mine more gear addiction. It's more a case of I have to buy something to feed something. So if I'm going out, I'm doing a new camp, I have to have a new piece of kit. It makes me feel better about myself. It makes me feel better about the camp. You'll see when I'm unpacking, I've spent a lot more money than I thought I had. I thought my gear, in total, everything I own was probably about £700 worth of gear. In the bag alone, I think there's about £1,500. I was pricing it up yesterday, getting some stats ready for this video, and I was astonished with it. So I will talk about the gear and what gear I had previous to that beforehand, and a little bit of analysis around it and why I buy certain gear and what it means to me and why I've got it. So as you can see, pack's off now. I'll start with the pack. It's a Forclaz MT900. I think it's about 1.3 kilos for the full pack. It's a 45 litre with a 10 litre detachable top on it. Very good pack. It's got a large zip front on it, so you can get your gear from either in the bottom, or alternatively, you've got your gear from the top. It's got, as you can see, numerous very big pockets. I've got my waterproof in it. I've got a big water bottle. Got my water filter in there. There's tons of room for other stuff in there as well. Yeah, really good pack. Highly recommended. Before this pack, I think it was another Decathlon pack that I had, but it was frameless, the one that I had. It didn't suit me. It was just very uncomfortable for me. I think that was 65 litres. Once again, it was a good pack. What just didn't suit my needs. Spent a little bit more money. Once again, as I said, that gear addiction that I've got this pack. I haven't looked back since. It's not even something I'm contemplating replacing at the moment. The only thing I would like is potentially a bigger one for winter camping. I'll explain why that is later. It's to do with my sleep system, and I've got some parts a little bit bigger. So I'll open the pack. In my pack, I like to keep my essentials nearer to the top. So I'll start with down jacket. Absolutely love this jacket. It's another one, the Decathlon jacket. I think it's a Forclaz jacket, or it could be a Quecha. I think it's a Forclaz. Brilliant jacket. It actually packs inside its own pocket. So it's as simple as that to undo it. Very good jacket, very warm, really nice. As you can see, there's a bit of an orange theme going on that wasn't pre-planned. I'll show you how easy it is to pack down now. It's literally just a case of you get it and you just start tucking into its own pocket. Once it's in, then it's done. And that's the jacket. Next, most important part of the kit, brew time. So, got titanium cup, complete with lid. This is bought for me off my wife for Christmas. I think it was about £25, or at least that's what I've seen on Amazon for. It's just your standardised titanium cup. She opted for a nice bright coloured one because with being bipolar, I'm not very good with keeping an eye on where I put stuff, and I lose them. I have actually lost this cup even though it's blue. I lost it for nearly 6 months inside my friend's car. Luckily he found it for me because I was devastated. Next, I move on to pan set. Boundless Voyage, once again, titanium. Good little pan set. I think it's about £38 on Amazon at the moment. It's got a little tiny frying pan, a little tiny cook pot, more than enough for one person. Good little set. Just your standard Coleman gas. It is what it is. I opt for a slightly bigger one just in case it gets stuck out in the hills, or I decide I want an extra day's camping. Let's move on to my stove. So the stove that I have is the Firemaple Polaris. It's got a pressure regulator that regulates down to a very low temperature. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head, but it is really low. I've actually used this stove in -9. I had to keep the gas warm next to my body, but it did light and it did make me a brew and potentially saved my life. I'll get more into that camp later on, but we didn't account for wind chill and we wasn't prepared, and we had a gear that wasn't hot enough for what we was taking. Highly recommend this stove. I think they're about £45 direct from Firemaple. The best stove I've ever had. I actually had before this the BSR little titanium stove. I used it once and it currently sits in a cupboard collecting dust. It just, for me, it didn't work. Each to their own, but it wouldn't hold a proper size pan. It was difficult to make a brew on. The wind would blow it out constantly. This, I don't need a windshield with. It holds a full size pan. It's self-explanatory. I don't need an extra stand with it. It's still fairly lightweight. Brilliant piece of kit. Move on to the tent. This is something special. This is the TarpTent Double Rainbow DW Ultra. It's made out of a special material called TNT. It's a material that's exclusive to TarpTent. It's like a laminate fabric. I will do a full review of the tent at some stage and I'll put that on so you can see it, but it doesn't have any seams because of it being laminate, so it's very, very strong. It's also highly waterproof. TarpTent rate this 150,000 millimeter hydrostatic head, which is, when you think that a lot of big tents have got 3,000 or 4,000, it's more than you'll ever need. I've not had it out in any extreme conditions yet, but I am looking forward to trying it over this winter. Whether or not I keep it as a winter setup, I don't know, because it is a mesh inner. But yeah, a very, very exciting tent. I bet there's probably less than 10 of these in the country. Before that tent, I've had a few. So I started off with a Decathlon Forclaz tent. I think that was the MT100. I only used that once and then I handed it down to Dylan. And I got an OEX Raccoon 2, which still to this day, anybody starting out, I'd recommend that tent to. Absolutely fantastic tent. I only swapped that out because I wanted to go one manner and got a Robin Starlight, which I still use. That's probably the tent I'll be using over the winter. After the Starlight, because I'm quite a big man, I'm 21 stone, so I needed something a bit bigger. So I had a look, wanted to still keep it lightweight. That's only 1.3 kilos, so it was a no-brainer for me. It was very expensive. I'll get round to costings once I've unpacked everything, but it was a lot of money. This is probably the cheapest piece of kit I own. This is the Nemo Tensor. I've got it in a regular wide. A regular mat's not generally big enough for me, but I sleep in the fetal position and I'm a side sleeper, so I'm only short when I sleep. So that's more than big enough, really. Wide, because why wouldn't you buy a wide pad? Yeah, really good piece of kit, really lightweight. I think it's got 3.2 R rating on it, so it should be good for most of the year round. It cost me nothing because Dylan and my lovely wife bought me this for Father's Day. It was £185. It's a good mat. I don't know if I'll be using this over the winter though, because I've got a mat that I prefer, but it's just really big. This is why I was saying before about the potential for buying another backpack, because I've got a Robins Falguard 40, which is self-inflating, but it's bulky. But in winter, there's nothing better than it. It's absolutely brilliant, that mat. I think they're about £45 and it's phenomenal. Next, pillows. I'm currently running 2 pillows because I'm a bit of a diva and I like to be comfortable. So I've got, at the moment, the Higear Comfort pillow and I've got the OEX Flux pillow. They're fairly budget pillows. I think the Flux are about £20 at the moment and I think the Comfort are about £15. Previous to them, I've always had quite a nice pillow. I had a Trekology pillow before that, which was really good. The only reason I replaced it is purely because I bought them for my wife and the comfort of them was just better. So I bought new ones. First aid kit. I'm not going through what's in there. A first aid kit's a first aid kit, but make sure you've got one. So, sleeping bag. I don't keep my bag inside its bag because it's easy to stuff in the bottom. This is a good piece of kit, and anybody who knows me knows I like something a bit unique. So this is the Sierra Designs Nightcap 35. Features of this bag that I really like. I wish I bought the 20, to be fair, because this is only rated to -2, but the comfort's 4. I've actually had it in -9, but I did have a fleece on, I had my down jacket on, and I had thermals on, and I was still risking hypothermia. That's the camp we were talking about before. I was expecting, the weather said 4 degrees, but we didn't account for wind chill. When we went outside and checked the temperature, it went down to -9. So it was a very cold night, but it saved my life. It kept me alive. I can't fault it. As I said before, I'm quite a rough sleeper and I'm a side sleeper. I don't like mummy sleeping bags. I don't get along with them. I don't like being restricted. I also, as much as I love a quilt, don't like being cold, and you get a lot of drafts through the side. The things that I do like about this is it's the best of both worlds. Because it's zipperless, you've actually got the quilted bit, and this actually tucks over you, and you can tuck it in, and then you have all the benefits of a quilt on all the sides of a quilt, but you don't actually lose any air from the sides. The other advantages is it's got a pocket at the back for your mat to go under, so it keeps it in place. With having the large hood, it holds your pillows in place, and the biggest feature that it's got is when you're too warm, it has a baffled foot box, which allows you to take your feet out and keep your feet warm. I actually like this bag that much that with regards to my gear addiction, this is the next purchase I'm buying. So I'm actually looking, they do, I can't remember what it's called, but they do a down version of it that goes down to 20 degrees, and it's a bit lighter, but it's also down, so it's more compatible. That's where I'm going to look next. That will be my next purchase, but it won't be just yet because there's other things that I've got to prioritise in my life. Next piece of kit that I've got in the bag, waterproof jacket. This is a Quecha from Decathlon, 25,000 hydrostatic head, brilliant waterproof jacket, keeps me dry, it's never failed on me, excellent piece of kit. What else have I got in my pockets? Water filter, Katadyn Befree, not used it yet, but I've bought this based off reviews from other people. Comes through with rave reviews. I know that it doesn't filter out all pathogens in the water, but it's enough for me. It's very compatible, fits well in my bag, holds a litre, and I think it takes 2 minutes, I think, to squeeze that litre out into purified water. On the other side, just a Nalgene bottle, 2 litres, self-explanatory. Squeeze the water out my Befree, that's where I get my fluids from. My front pocket for cooking, I have spatula, cost me 50p from Decathlon, nice and lightweight. It's better than buying the camping essential ones because it's cheaper. Same with the tongs, nice and lightweight, very small, ideal for camping. I'll take my poles off next. These poles I bought to accompany the tent. So the tent can be freestanding or it can be semi-freestanding. It's a single pole tent, but to make it freestanding you need walking poles which fit at the base of it. They also can be used then to make it stronger. You can either use them there or you can stand them up to hold the doors up. This is why I got these, because you needed 140mm poles. These poles are massive when they're extended. I'll bring one out, show you. 140mm. It's like you'd have to be a giant to need a pole that big, but it's what's needed for the tent. I like that they're only single buckle ones. It makes them a bit firmer, a bit stronger. Really good. I like the cork grips. Fits nice in my hand. Main thing I like about them, it's got these glove style holders, and they hold really well, nice and comfortable. Fits in your hand really well. Yep, really good piece of kit. So, last few bits, go to the top. This is the real first aid box. This is the important bit. So in this bag, we have whole repair kit. Everybody should have one of these. Break a pole when you're out there, you're knackered. You're either sleeping under a cold, wet tarp, or you're walking down a hill in the rain and the wind, feeling miserable. Tenacious tape. Once again, self-explanatory. Nobody wants a rip. If you do, I can fix it on the fly. And then the most important bits. This is where I carry my emergency brew stuff. So that's where my coffees are. It's where my sugars are. As you can see, I'm on decaf coffee. There is reasons that I drink decaf over real coffee. I wish I could still drink real coffee, but unfortunately I can't. So decaf is what I have to deal with. The coffees cost me nothing. Through work, I spend quite a lot of time in hotels. Tend to take some with me when I leave the hotels. Power bank, once again, part of my gear addiction. I already had a power bank. I saw this when I was out. Fell for the fad of the fact that it's got solar panel, because it's got a solar panel on the front. Fell for that, and yeah, I've googled it since. I think you're looking at about 19 hours continuous sunlight for that solar panel to put any real charge in this power bank. Also doesn't really charge your phone very well. Everybody should have a power bank, just not that one. Next we go on a titanium spoon. This is from Alpkit. They call it a Foon, I think. This one I really like over others because of this flat end at the top. So obviously the bottom end is self-explanatory. Can get inside my meals. I'm not going to get food all over me. But what you find is that gets dirty and I can't always clean it. So I can use a big fat end for a brew. And that is why I like the Alpkit one. I also have my EDC tool. Very good. Pliers on it. Comes with Phillips head screwdriver, you've got your carabiner, standard bits, you've got your knife on it, got your little saw on it. Everything that I need while I'm out. Also a bottle opener. Can't go wrong, serves me well. And it has a small flint on it. Don't really use the flint. I will show you why if I've brought it with me. Next, head torch. Best head torch I've ever had. First one I ever bought, only one I'd ever used. Forclaz, £15, Decathlon, does everything you want. It's nice and bright, and it's got a red light on it. USB rechargeable, 20 hours charge, can't go wrong. Next, the fire steel. This is the bit I was looking for. I've took the handle off my steel because I'll use my EDC tool to light it. The handle weighs weight. I don't need to be carrying any extra weight with me. Simple as that. It is what it is. That I use for lighting my stove because it doesn't have a clicker with it. Next, hygiene products. Got a toothpaste. There's no particular toothpaste, just whatever I could get in a small tub that was cheap. And then my homemade mini toothbrush. I know it's a fad, cutting down your toothbrushes, but I've not done it for weight saving. I've done it purely so it fits in my bag better. Talk a bit about costs now. Like I said, gear addiction. So I've already talked a bit about my rucksack I had before this one. I think the one I had before this was about £40 I paid for it. There was nothing wrong with it. It just didn't have a frame in it. It wasn't comfortable for me to carry. It didn't fit my body shape. This is actually a women's bag. I have a very, very short upper body and I have short arms like a T-Rex. So this actually fits me better than a man's one would. It's lightweight for what it is, for having a frame. Really good. I think I paid about £130 for this, maybe a little bit less. I will share on the screen the actual stats for it. But yeah, I think it was about £130. Do I need to spend £130? No. Like I said, my first one was about £40, so it was a lot cheaper. Next, sleeping bag. Once again, I think I paid £130 for this as well. This is something that I think is one of the better purchases I've bought, and probably something I can't live without. When I bought my first bag, I had a mummy bag from Decathlon. I think it was £50 I paid for it. Very good bag, had it down to very, very low temperatures. Dylan used it up until later this year when he's upgraded himself, but it was a really, really good bag. It just wasn't good for me because I don't like mummy style bags. Finding this was a game changer for me, and I've never looked back. The only thing I don't really use it in is hammocks, and that's because I don't like the idea that I'm potentially stuck in it. So I do have a separate quilt for hammocks, but yeah, the only thing I'd ever think I'd replace this with is potentially a Zenbivy, but I'm trying to avoid that at the moment because I don't want to fork out £400 for a sleeping bag. So, next piece, tent. This is one of my biggest, well, it is my biggest expense. I said before I thought all my gear was about 700 quid, which I did, but I sort of discount sometimes how much it cost me for single items. This tent, I've worked out how much it cost after transferring money over from American dollars to British pounds, because I bought it direct from TarpTent. Worked out about £400 to buy the tent, but then on top of that, it's £50 to have it imported, to have it delivered, and then I have to pay import taxes to bring it into the UK. I'm pretty sure I paid about £150, maybe £200 to bring it to the UK. So yeah, an expensive piece of kit. Do I regret it? Not one bit. Like I said before, I love really unusual gear. There's probably only about 10 of these in the country, of this specific tarp tent anyway. It's a really, really good tent. I love the fact that it's got this groundbreaking material with it, and it's just completely different to what anybody else has got. I know me and my friends, we call it the space shuttle, because when it's set up, and you'll see that when I do the review of it, it literally looks like a space shuttle. It's not for everybody because the colour of it is white, but unless NASA's trying to watch me from space, nobody's going to see me when I'm up on top of a hill in the middle of nowhere. Tent I had before that, like I said, I've had numerous. The one that was most recent, which is cheating a little bit because I still use it, is my Robin's Starlight one, and I think that comes in about 1.5 kilos, I'd say. That was £120. I got that on a really, really good deal. And I wouldn't say there's a great deal in it for which is the better tent, which, when you look at it price-wise, is huge. But it makes me happy. Next, the Nemo Tensor, like I said, cost me nothing. It was bought for me as a gift, but that would set you back £185. So it's, once again, not a cheap piece of kit, but I don't think you can put a price on a good night's sleep, and I don't think you can put a price on your safety. And with having a 3.2 R value, that will take me down to, I'd say, about -1. I'd be comfortable in it. I think it says on their website about -4. I don't know if I'd be willing to push that. I think I'd be looking at having a foil mat underneath it at that point, or getting a mat with a slightly better R value. But for what I've got it for summer use, absolutely perfect for me. Before that, I had a Trekology UL80. I'd say it was equally as good a mat, just not as hard wearing. The materials of it are a lot stronger. It's a really strong mat, but comfort wise, the UL80, just as comfortable, just as thick, just as easy to put up. Did I need it? No, but I didn't buy it. My family wanted me to have a good night's sleep, they wanted me to enjoy myself. I'm not going to say no. Next, pillows, I've already got into them. They are what they are. These are still fairly budget. I'm not going any more expensive than this. They suit me well. £15 and £20 I think they were. Once again, like I said, I will put the stats on the screen afterwards. As you can see, the benefits of this bag, what I like, it opens up like a big burrito. It's lovely. I will start zipping it up a bit now as I'm packing though, just to make sure everything gets in. Next in my bag, gas. I've currently been buying these in 6-packs. I think they pay £30 for 6 of them at the moment from Winfield's Outdoors. It is what it is. Gas is gas. Just get whatever you can get cheap. Next, pans. Like I said before, I think they're about £38 off Amazon. Prior to these, I had a cook set from, I think it was Decathlon. It cost me not a great deal less, if I'm honest. I think it was about £30 for the cook set, and it was a lot heavier, not as versatile as this, just not as good. I like that cook set. There's quite a lot of decent cheap titanium online these days. Next up, Polaris stove. £45 well spent. You're not going to get much cheaper for the same quality. It's still fairly budget stove, but really, really good. Serves me well. Really, really like it. It's very much made me a convert to Firemaple gear. Yeah, really good stove. Prior to that, like I said, I had the BSR. I've also had the Outkit brew kit. I've got a couple of Trangia style stoves. I've got quite a few stoves, but that one's my favourite. It was a bit cheaper for the BSR, but once again, like I said, doesn't hold a pan, doesn't stay lit in the wind. Each to their own. I know there's got a big fan following up online, just isn't for me. Next up, titanium cup. Like I said, I think they're about £25 off Amazon, made by a company called Tito's. I don't know what they've anodised them with, but yeah, I like it. It's nice, very colourful, very me, easy to find. I don't lose it anywhere, which is rich because I have lost it. But yeah, it's just a good cup. I like that it's got a lid to keep my brew warm. I like that I can put it straight on the stove, cooker to cook a brew if I wanted. It serves me. It does well. It doesn't weigh anything, and it fits well in the bag. Next up, like I said, down jacket from Decathlon. It literally squishes down to nothing. I think these retail at the moment about £80. Might be a bit cheaper. Once again, like I said, I'll put stats on the screen. I think I paid £80 for this one. It's a very good one. I've had it out all winter. I've not had the need to go to a higher temperature rating on it or anything. It cools down fine. It holds the heat. It's just a really good jacket. As you can see with this bag, you can adjust it one-handed. One of the things that really drew me to it. It's very, very highly adjustable, very compactable. Just a very, very good bag. So next I will put in waterproof jacket. This is the Quecha. I think it's the MH100. Like I said, it's got a very, very high hydrostatic head. Prior to this coat, I didn't have a dedicated waterproof jacket. I had just whatever coat I just had for work, stuff like that. That was my first proper one. I've had ones when I was younger, but not since I've been out hiking again and camping again. Really good piece of kit, never let me down. It is due to be waterproofed again. I know I posted a video not that long ago in the rain. I didn't get wet still in it, but the water wasn't beading, which means to me, I need to get out, I need to get it waterproofed again. I've got the kit at home to do that, so I'll do that myself. Next, Katadyn Befree. Do you need one of these? Not really. It's not, nobody needs a water filter. It's a nice thing to have because you can never guarantee when you're going to get water or whether there's going to be a source. It's also, it cuts down a lot of weight for me. Each litre of water weighs a kilogram. So if I was carrying 2 or 3 litres of water up a hill, it's an extra 2 or 3 kilograms that I have to add to the pack. I'm not that fussed about weight. I'm all for comfort and what suits me more than anything. But if I don't have to carry unnecessary weight, I'm not going to. And that saves a lot of weight. You've just got to make sure that you're using as clean a water source as possible. Scout the area first, make sure there's no dead animals. Don't go anywhere where there's potential that people have been putting excrement in the water, because you don't want to be drinking that. But if you watch your water sources, get them as high up as possible, you should be totally fine with that and have some nice clean water. Next, first aid kit that I was squeezing here. Once again, like I said, the uses of having this double zip and this burrito style zip, it's really, really good. If I can zip it up, because I can put things in from both sides. Nalgene bottle, it's a Ion 8 one. I think I paid about £15 for that bottle. There's nothing special about it. It was just an Nalgene bottle. It was cheap and cheerful. It's 2 litres. It fits in the bag well. It serves me. It does what I need it to. Next up, the tools. Like I said, I think it was about £1 or £2 each from TK Maxx. Good pieces of kit. Didn't have any tools before them. Didn't have the need for any. Got them because they were cheap. Tenacious tape was expensive. I think that was about £10, £15 from Tenacious tape. And the pole repair kit actually came with one of my tents. And obviously my coffees I steal from hotels. My steel, I think I got 2 for £15 off Amazon, and then I've took the handle off it. That should last me a good few years. Really good. Once again, I didn't have anything before this because they had stoves with a clicker on them, so I didn't have a need for it. EDC tool. Beforehand, they had little pocket knives that I've got from abroad and stuff like that. This was a bit more dedicated. I think it was about £20 from Go Outdoors. Titanium spoon, I think they're about £15 from Outkit. You can get them cheaper on Amazon, AliExpress, places like that. You can pick them up for a few quid. But like I said, I liked this one. It had a big fat handle on the back, and I bought it while I was actually out and I needed a spoon, and I was just happened to be near an Outkit. So yeah, it fits in my kit. Toothbrush and toothpaste, they were about £1 each. Headlamp, £15 Decathlon. It's the young one I've ever had. I've had a couple of them ones. Wouldn't replace it. Literally the best one I've ever had, and it will be the younger one I will ever use. As long as I can buy one of those, that's what I'll be buying. Power bank, like I said, complete waste of money. I think it was about £20. Doesn't really charge anything. It's not very good. It's not my finest of purchases, but like I said, I've got an addiction to buying things, and that causes me to buy sometimes bad purchases as well as good ones. Next up, my poles. Once again, they weren't really needed. I already had a set of ones from Outkit prior to this. I think they were about £25, the Outkit ones. These cost me, I think, about £45. They do serve a purpose because, like I said, I will be using them with the tent. It does make them a bit more rigid, but the tent will go up without them. They weren't needed. Like I said, I think when I priced up everything together in there, including my walking boots, which I've not got on because I've got my trail runners on, I think it was about £1,600 that's in that bag. My original setup, I think, cost me about £350. So you don't need it. So the question for me is, why? Why do we need to spend this money? Why do we want to spend the money? Well, I think that's kind of an individual thing. For some people, the content creators, the YouTubers, they do articles in magazines, and they need to because they need to review stuff. For me, it helps with my mental health. It helps with me getting out. It helps me doing stuff. It builds the excitement for going out. If I've got something new to take with me and a new toy and something new to play with, then it makes it better. I think today was a prime example. This is the third time I've attempted to film this video today. I've been out since 9 o'clock this morning. It's now 6:30. Trying to film. I did buy a gimbal, which I was trying to film with this morning. Unfortunately, it didn't work very well. That's now gone back. I had problems with my audio on one set of footage and problems with the gimbal just not fully connecting to me on another one. So I got left with hours and hours worth of footage that just wasn't usable. So we're back out again and doing it. So what are my takeaways from this? I think it's about being yourself and doing what's right for you. Did I need to spend all this money I've spent on gear? No, I didn't. Can I justify it? Well, kind of. I don't spend beyond my means. I make sure my bills are paid. I make sure that my wife has got anything she needs and she's got her money. I make sure my kids have got everything they need. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. There's far worse habits I could have. Can I honestly say that everything that's in this bag's still going to be here if I revisit this in 12 months' time? Probably not. There probably won't be any of it still in this bag. There's a lot of gear in there I love, and there's a lot that I'd like to keep. But if you take anything away from this, it's be an individual and do what makes you happy. For me, I like having new things. I like having new gear. Yes, I shouldn't do, but I do like it. For others, they may spend beyond the means and they shouldn't do, but that's their choice as well. I think it's a case of stay off things like Facebook groups and stay off listening too much what you see on social media. I think be yourself and be that individual, you know. Do what's right for you. Get get your own fit. Like I said, there's not many people got this tent that I've got, but I love it. There's a lot of people have Dursten X-Mids. They love them. They're individuals. The BSR stove I talked about before, I absolutely hate it. I know Paul Mesner said in one of his previous videos he doesn't like it. I've seen other people who don't like them, but then I've equally seen just as many people who will argue to be blue in the face that that's the best stove ever made. Everybody's an individual. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. And the only other takeaway I take is just be mindful that companies will charge you a lot of money. I've speaking to somebody about the X-Mid a few days ago, and they were saying they bought theirs a couple of years ago for about £400. I was walking with Dylan yesterday, and he was telling me that that's his dream tent, and that's the tent he wants more than anything. And we priced it up, and we're looking anything from £800 to about £1,500 at the moment to get one in the UK. So it's subjective, and I'm not saying that's not a dig at Dursten. It's not. It definitely isn't. It's just an example. It's a big product that a lot of people are using, and they have their price, but then it goes through manufacturers, it goes through delivery companies, it goes through other retailers, and they all put the stamp on it. The British government are one of the worst in the world. Like I said, for me to bring the TarpTent into the country cost me nearly £200. And these are things that you need to factor and things that you need to take into account. And it's, yes, do you, yes, be happy, but don't put yourself into ruin doing it. And ultimately, if you can only afford a £350 setup, get that. If you can afford a £200 setup, you get that. If you have to beg and plead and borrow off your friends, do that. If it gets you out and you're enjoying it and it makes you happy, that's what you need. If you need to go out and spend thousands of pounds on the most latest gear and the best gear, you do that. Be you. But most of all, just be happy and treat everybody with respect.